So yeah, thanks for taking the time. You're in Brooklyn? Where are you?
Technically in Queens, but we're like
Queens.
we're like 2 blocks from Brooklyn though.
Okay. Is there a rivalry between Queens and Brooklyn that I should know about?
Probably.
Probably we're not really
We're not part of
part
that.
of that. No, yeah.
We weren't born here. We came here to start a better life.
Okay, cool. Sounds good so far. So it's 11 o'clock where you are
Yes. It
in the
feels
morning.
early. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in Brighton, right?
Yeah, 5 hours difference, I think it is. So
Yeah. How's
it's
it going
four-
over there?
yeah, it's raining. It's damp. The usual stuff.
Sounds classically English.
Yeah. So we're having a horrible spring, but yeah, it's all right. The days are getting longer. It's becoming lighter earlier and later, which is good.
Do you know about the Prince Albert that we're going to play?
Yeah, I know about that place. Yeah.
Is it cool? Have you been?
No, it's terrible. I wouldn't go
Well,
there.
Yeah.
I'm joking. No, it's amazing. It's quite small, but it's a really, really well-known Brighton venue. It's like a room in a pub. The pub is famous because it's got this wall of graffiti, which is basically rock stars, and some local guy. The whole wall is basically covered in these images of Hendrix and Amy Winehouse and everybody you can think of who's famous. And yeah, it's a great venue. It's a great sound system. Perfect place for you guys, I think. Have you never played in Brighton before?
No, we played like 6 or 7 times. Somewhere else during the whole Great Escape thing, but yeah, I like Brighton.
So you were here for the Great Escape. When was that?
2018. Yeah.
And apart from that, have you played in Brighton?
Yeah, we played the Concord in 2019. We played also in 2018 when we came back. We did the Haunt a few times.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so the Albert's great. It's a little bit smaller, but it's the center of rock and roll in Brighton.
Well, we wanted to play like more intimate spaces, and we wanted to be able to play like multiple shows over a few nights. It seemed like a better touring practice to do. I'm excited to test it out. Yeah, we get to like stay in the same city for.
I think that's a really good idea, and I think that's I'm surprised more people don't do it, actually, because I was interested in the fact that you're doing 2 evening shows, 1 afternoon show, and you're also doing an in-store, aren't you? A Resident Records in-store. So yeah, three live shows in 2 days. Is that right?
Yeah, it's also like for if there's anybody who really likes us and wants to see more than one show, we'll do different songs.
Yeah.
So just makes it more fun,
Yeah, I think that's good. At least you get to spend a bit of time checking it out rather than just coming into town, playing a gig, leaving. It's
yeah.
A lot of people don't even know where they are half the time. Where am I? What city is this? Yeah. The afternoon shows are great as well, because I'm a big fan of afternoon shows, and I think more bands should do them, really, because what's wrong with going to a gig in the afternoon?
Well, we'll find out. We're not really early risers, so.
No, but I mean, you probably had an early show at the Great Escape, didn't you, when you were here before? If you can remember.
Like 5. That's
Maybe,
still
yeah.
pretty early though. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think that's really good. And you're doing the Resident install because obviously you've got the album coming out, which ties in with that. I've been playing some tracks, which are amazing. I love your music. Throne is brilliant. And yeah, so what album number is this?
Well, it's kind of depends how you count. I mean, it's really our second album, but we had like an EP that I think it's like longer than an EP, so we called that a mini album. So
yeah,
it's really
the label would not let it be called a mini album. It was an EP.
Yeah. It's really our second like big statement,
And it's been a while since the first album.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been way too long, honestly. I
mean,
partially COVID's fault, partially our own fault. I mean, me and Nikki also make films, so we made a film and that came out in 2020, and that sucked up so much of our energy.
Yeah.
So hopefully there'll be more records in the future without less gaps.
We already have like 20 songs we're gonna record when we come back in May for our 3rd record, hopefully.
Wow, already Cool. Just obviously, I'll talk about the music, but I'm just curious about the film. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, so it's called Private Chat, spelled PVT Chat. It's out there on all the streaming things if people want to see it.
Yeah.
It stars Peter Vack and Julia Fox. It's about it's sort of a kinky romantic comedy / erotic thriller in which this guy falls in love with a cam girl and stalks her in real life. But sort of the twist is that instead of any violence ensuing, as the sort of generic plot seems to suggest, they actually do fall in love.
Right.
So it's kind of a perverted love
Yeah.
story of sorts. And Nikki acts in it, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like what's that film? That famous film with Richard Gere and Juliet Roberts.
Oh,
Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman.
Is it Pretty Woman? Obviously, it doesn't sound like that, but it's a kind of a similar, you know, where he falls in love with a prostitute, a hooker, whatever, and yeah, it all ends
with a heart of gold.
after. Yeah. But I guess your film's not quite like that, is it?
Our film's a little more seedy than that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Was it just a personal project, or did it get a release, or how could people see it?
No, it's been released. It had it played in some festivals and theater things, but during COVID only. But it's out there in all the streaming things. There's just DVDs of it.
There was going to be a small theatrical run, but then 2020. So.
There's a lot of nudity in it, and only really male nudity. So I think some people were afraid of the erections. We still live in, unfortunately, I guess, a very phallic fearing society. So it got banned from certain things because of that.
Although that show on HBO has so many dicks in it.
Yeah, but it's they're beautifully lit. I'm sure they're fake.
No, I don't think they are.
They're stand-ins though. They're not the actual actors. Members.
Well, if you're right, if they do have a full frontal, it's usually side characters.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
It does remind me. I seem to remember that it was okay to have dicks, but they had to be flaccid, whereas an erection was definitely a no-no, wasn't it? And that's still the same, is it? Oh, okay.
It's like tits with nipples. It's okay to see the tits, but you can't see the nipple.
When I was talking to some distributors early on who turned down the film, they said, "Ben, if you show naked female flesh, that's art.
Yeah.
If you show an erection, that's just obscene." Which is obviously the film. I personally really disagree with that sentiment.
It's a perfectly natural thing, isn't it? As far as I'm concerned, to have an erection, isn't it?
Right. It's a worthy. It's a worthy subject for an art. Why isn't it? It's a part of daily life.
Well, male perversion has been we've been subjected to it for so long. We might as well actually see the act.
Good stuff. So I guess COVID, well, at least you were kept busy during COVID to an extent, but the music had to take a bit of a backseat, certainly in terms of live performances. I guess it was almost decimated for a while. Did you record this album in COVID environment, or when did you make this album?
Yeah, we recorded it in September 2020 and then did a second session in January 2021. And we were at the studio where this studio called Trout in Brooklyn, where there's a regular studio in the basement, which is the actual studio where the console and all the gear is and stuff. But they have an apartment that they also own, Bryce, who it's his studio. And on top of the apartment, they usually Airbnb it or something. But for COVID, the whole band was upstairs and our signals were all being sent to the console downstairs. So the engineer was not in the same room with us when we were playing. Right. Which was kind of, and then there was even a little, laptop setup where we could see him on, I guess Skype or whatever it was. Just like this. It was just, and he was like, "Want to do another take?" from the computer, that kind of thing.
You played by the rules, it sounds like.
Yeah, maybe. What's funny is we.
Well, we technically probably shouldn't have been doing it at all if we played by the rules, but
yeah. What's funny is after doing all that, we're play us back some tracks, and we'd go downstairs, and also we're in the same room with them. But whatever, it's just one person. Yeah.
Okay. So it was recorded quite a long time ago then. So did you delay it on purpose, or what? Why is it only coming out now?
Yeah, we delayed on purpose because we wanted to be able to tour it. It's part of the fun of being a band is to share the music. So we pushed it back, hoping that we could tour it, and it looks like we're going to be able to. Also, it took a long time to mix, just because we tracked it. We did. We started mixing with this guy Bryce Goggin, who lives in Vermont, and so a lot of he did some mix sessions in person, but a lot of them were over Zoom as well. And there's like an app that allows us to hear exactly what his Pro Tools is hearing, but we got kind of frustrated with that process, so then we ended up remixing it all with Adam Sachs, who was the guy who was the initial engineer. I had second thoughts about a lot of the lyrics, so I retracked some of the lyrics, that kind of thing. So it went all the way up until fairly recently.
And I don't know if you know about like the recording plant, like how Adele's like vinyl like stopped, vinyl production for everyone for like 6 months. Yeah. We hadn't been caught up in that really, but we were like, we had to give it like 8 months. They're like, give us like 6 to 8 months. And we're like, okay. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's a real problem these days. Yeah, it's hopefully, I don't know, hopefully more people are building manufacturing plants, because that's the only thing that's going to solve this situation, isn't it? Because
one of them burned down, I think, a few years ago. That like even further decimated
right.
it.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it is cool that there's like 400,000 people that want to buy the Adele thing on vinyl. That's cool, I guess.
Do they though?
I mean, apparently they do. I don't know. They're like they're in like they're like in Target and like Barnes and Nobles and like big chain stores have like brand new releases on vinyl. That's kind of cool, I guess.
Is vinyl something that's important to you? I mean, obviously it's important enough to release music on vinyl, but is it something that holds a special place for you in any way, or is it just how do you see it?
I mean, I buy vinyls of my favorite records. I'm more so for the artwork, really.
Yeah. That's the best part.
Yeah, I think me and Nikki are products of the CD generation. Actually, I kind of wish CDs would come back. I like not having to flip the side. They're easier to store. CD booklets often have way more information than, paradoxically, than vinyl liner notes do.
Yeah.
The Bodega CD, actually, in that tradition, has an extra song that the vinyl does not have. So you need to get the CD to hear it, because it doesn't fit on the vinyl.
No.
Yeah,
you're limited, aren't you?
Yeah.
45 minutes or something like that. 40, something like that.
44, technically.
44, okay.
You get 22 aside before you start losing.
Yeah. Okay.
God forbid.
You wouldn't want to lose your low end, would you?
Yeah.
Cool. So, is it a 5-piece coming over? How many are there of you?
Yeah, there's 5. 2 guitars, bass, drums, and Nikki is our auxiliary front person, extra percussion samples, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Have you managed to do many shows at all recently? Or?
We just did 3 last year. We did one at an old IBM facility in Kingston, New York, that has been long since abandoned, and that one was pretty cool. And then we did like a single release for Doers in November. There's one other one. I can't remember.
It was the one in Manhattan.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we have one Brooklyn, one Manhattan, one.
Can you remember anything about that show?
Yeah, it was all like the season. It was funny. We did like one in spring, one in summer, one in fall. So we covered the whole spread.
Okay, so that's all you've done. 3 shows in the last year or 2.
Since 2020. Since
February,
because we went on tour in February 2020 in America. So, our last show was probably like February 28th or something silly like that. And then we drove back across America, and we're like, oh, there's from LA to New York. It took about like a week, and we're like, oh, there's like this virus thing. And that's weird. And then we get to New York, and it's like, what?
Yeah, I think that was the last show I saw, the 28th of February. I mean, not that I've seen shows since then, but that was the last show before it all struck. Yeah, 28th of February. I always forget. I'll always remember that day.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what show was it?
It was a band called Dry Cleaning.
Oh yeah, we toured with Dry Cleaning.
Did you? Oh right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's funny. They were opening for us at that time.
Right.
And now they're like way bigger.
Before they'd put out music or anything. Yeah, it would have been 2019. I love Dry Cleaning.
Yeah, they're They're great. They're great. So yeah, so obviously Bodega, is it Bodega or Bodega? Can I just make sure I get that right? Bodega.
I like how you guys say bodega.
Bodega. Is it Bodega? Yeah.
That's how Steve Lamack says it. Bodega.
Okay. How would you say it in America?
Bodega.
Okay, fine. And it's named after a shop. Is that right?
Well, I mean, it's a word that has many meanings, but we initially got it from the Hitchcock movie, The Birds.
Oh, did you?
In the town is Bodega Bay, which I thought was a fake town, but it's actually a real town in California. But also, it's what we call like corner stores in New York.
Yeah.
I guess it's what they call wine shops in Spain. So I like all its different meanings. It's cool.
So it's like a generic term, is it? A bodega?
Yeah.
So it's like a corner shop or a convenience store is what we might.
It's like a convenience store that's like not a chain store, and typically they're all like immigrant run. Hence the term bodega, which it has Spanish origins. But
okay, right.
Yeah.
Birds, very frightening film when I saw that as a kid.
Oh, it's a great film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about perversion in film.
Yeah. Yeah. There is an element of that, isn't there? Yeah. I might have to revisit The Birds. Yeah. God,
I mean, the birds come because of the erotic force of Tippi Hedren.
Yes. Yeah. Hitchcock was a little bit, but it's a great director, made some amazing films.
Total pervert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pervertry.
So the album's called Broken Equipment, and I was just wondering what that's a reference to.
There's an essay on art that Heidegger has in which he compares art to his term broken equipment. He says broken equipment is like art in the sense that when you have a tool, you take it for granted, but when it breaks, it reveals itself. The example I was used is like Wi-Fi. I never noticed that we have Wi-Fi in our apartment only until it goes down. Then it reveals itself to me.
Yeah.
Or I think Heidegger's example was a shoe. Like you don't really notice that you're even wearing shoes until there are holes in them, for example.
Yeah.
So I think art is kind of like that, where it's made by broken, damaged people who reveal something about ordinary reality that we normally take for granted. I like that meaning, but I also thought it was funny that it sounds like we recorded it on broken equipment, like blown out amplifiers or something. Also, I've been thinking about how the system is quote unquote broken, and maybe it always has been, but because it's so apparent now to almost everybody, the political systems, I mean, it's because they're so broken that the plus side is they're revealing themselves. Also, I just like the way it sounds too. It sounds in it.
It's cool. Is that Martin Heidegger you're talking about?
Yeah.
Wow. Heavy stuff.
Yeah, we gotta get heavy somehow.
I've never, I love all that stuff, kind of existentialist angle, I guess, from him. But every time I try and read one of his books, I get very, very confused.
Yeah, well, I think like the key to reading them is you have to like accept it almost like a psychedelic experience, like let it wash over you, and just keep going, because they're as poetic as they are. It's not rigorous philosophy.
No, good stuff. I'll have to
let it wash over me so quickly that I just like end up falling asleep. So
I'll have to check out that essay. What's the essay? It's actually called Broken Equipment.
No, I have to look, but there's a really great. There's like a little like book that most bookshops have that's like late Heidegger essays, like way later than Being in Time. Yeah. And there's several of them in there, and it has the art one, has the technology one in there, and those are the best Heidegger writings, I think. So
okay. All right, just finally, there's just regarding the song "Statuette on the Console" as well. That's a really cool title, I think, and very striking title. Can you talk about that song at all? Is there anything that you'd like to say, or is it just a good song that you recorded?
Have you listened to the different versions?
No, I haven't. No.
I recorded it in 9 languages. And it's kind of been a project I've been doing for the last year, where I just felt that I wanted to reach people in their own language, and that I had made friends all over the world. So I just put out a call on social media, and I was like, if anyone's interested in being a part, whether they're friends or fans or just like friends of friends. And whoever got back to me, I did a version. And it's really cool because most of the people who actually got back to me were musicians themselves. So they were able to like, figure out the cadence, which is probably honestly one of the hardest parts. I could like, try to like chameleonize an accent, sort of. I mean, I never really like succeeded fully, but it's like hard to figure out like, how do I say this so I can fit it into the lines, because most languages you have different, like like so many more consonants, or like the consonants change, what I meant to say. Like so like in the Dutch one, it's like double the consonants that you have to say within the sentence. So I'm like, how do I fit this in? Etc. on the console to me was just about shifting perspectives, and also about external forces that you can't control but that you defy.
So what languages did you do apart from Dutch and English?
I did Spanish, Portuguese, Greek, Italian, German, French, then Dutch and English.
And are they available to listen to?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
okay.
on Spotify. They're on Spotify, and they're on YouTube, and I don't know, other places.
I'll check those out. Will you be doing
Ukrainian. I did Ukrainian, which is kind of
amazing. Well, brilliant. So will you be performing any of those other languages at any of these gigs?
Well, actually, funny enough, the Brighton one, the woman who helped me do the Greek version will be at one of the shows, and I'm not sure which one yet, so I have to figure that out. Okay. But I thought I would do the version for her, so to hear it at one of whatever one she's at. Since I don't feel like I'm going to Greece anytime soon.
Thanks very much for taking the time, and enjoy the rest of the day. And it's coming out fast, isn't it? So you'll be coming here really soon, and 3 days in Brighton. So yeah, that's really good. And the album's going to be coming out on the 11th.
On the 11th, yeah.
On the 11th itself. So that's Friday week, isn't it? So yeah, obviously you must be pretty excited to be doing some shows and doing a tour. So it's been a long time. Yeah.
Thanks for taking the time. Talk to us.
Take care. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.